I've got a present for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Real tough guy.
Affirmative. Comrade?
Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes,
Unit
sir.
ready.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building. Unit lost. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Training. Unit ready. Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Building.
Comrade, affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
I've
Affirmative.
got a present for you.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Comrade. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Our
Reporting.
base is under attack.
Acknowledged.
Building. Unit lost.
Vehicle report. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Unit lost.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit
Waiting
lost.
order. Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds.
Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
I've got a present for you.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Scorched.
Affirmative.
Give him help.
Building.
Give him help. I'm afraid.
On hold. Cancel.
Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Waiting affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Objective.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
Naval unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Waiting order. Comrade, affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Insufficient
Yes, sir.
funds.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silence
Acknowledged.
needed. Building.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Comrade, affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Waiting
Building.
order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit
Yes,
ready.
sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Insufficient.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting. At once.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Mission accomplished.